I think what I'm trying to do here is actually create a space where you can have a say, a more legitimate say. I would agree at the moment, and in the context of the guide, communities were frozen out. They weren't given the opportunity. There was no real robust structure to have these sorts of arguments. And even if you can have the arguments, not have a chance to influence. What I'm trying to do is build a framework where these arguments are legitimate and valid as part of the process going forward.
The basin plan needs to provide enough water to flush the basin sold out to sea, so I'm pretty clear on that. That, for me, is a litmus test of whether this plan works. So, when I heard about the figure of 2750, the question which came for me was, it seems a smaller number than I was expecting to do all the jobs it's expected to do.
The number, the headline number that people are talking about is 2750. Okay, that's a number that the authority believes as a starting point. Remember, starting point. We're happy to concede that number could change during the process as we've identified. That's a modelling number as at 2009.
At the moment, Lake Albert, there's 20 times more saline than anywhere else in the river system. So we've still got a major problem there, and the water comes into our lake and it sits there along with all the toxins, the chemicals and everything else. So we're going to finish up with a hypersaline chemical mess.
The simplest question to me, as somebody who lives on the river, sees on a daily basis the changes, who went through the period of the lakes driving out, who has seen the resilience of the system coming back, is will this plan flush 2 million tonnes of salt, pollutants and nutrients out through the mouth and keep the mouth open so that the system not only has a quantity of water in it, but has a quality of water that will sustain the life and meet the targets of the Act?
There was a big focus on the lower lakes, as you would expect, but that's all about caring for something that's precious, not just to Australia, but to the planet. Things change in nature, and you've got to have a system and a process, in my view anyway, that contemplates change, that actually celebrates change, and recognise that new knowledge and new ways and clever ways of doing things should always be part of the deal and should always be incorporated into the things we're trying to do.
Without a plan, we will fail. I am very pleased that this plan, at last, after 150 years, is now starting. I thank all of you today for coming along today and supporting such a plan. I hope that's what you're here for, because a plan without a start will fail.
Let's agree and accept it. Now, no plan takes us nowhere. We will have several opportunities as we move towards 2019 for the fine-tuning that needs to be done.
Is 2,750 gigalitres enough? I doubt this, but it's a starting point. Our industry is and has been a vulnerable sector to the increasing water demands of upstream. I urge all of us to take this opportunity to contribute to the development of this plan.
I'd like some comments about why the sustainable diversion limits across the basin for groundwater have actually been increased compared to what was originally designed.
The truth is, we've identified what's there. There's no sort of magically new water. The principal reason why the number's grown is because we've identified all the water. It wasn't so in the guide.
If we don't get this through the federal parliament next year, I think there's a real danger that it'll be 15 to 20 years before another attempt is made. And I think we as South Australians have got an obligation, particularly us here today, we've heard the arguments, we need to go out and engender that support from the rest of the South Australian community to support that point of view. Thank you, Greg.
With this meeting, we've got to the position where people accept that a basin plan is necessary. They accept that this is a first step towards achieving that. Behind that, I think there are still a myriad of concerns with detail, but people are, instead of bringing them to the forefront, are now taking a position where they say, let's make a start. Let's keep talking about the detail and the concerns we have, and I think this has given us a basis to move forward.
Local communities want to have a say. There's an enormous amount of wisdom in local communities. There's an opportunity here that with proper and decent mutual respect, you can do a lot of good things. I think there's an understanding that by working together we can get a good result.